if I can, you can, and we all can. And that's what we really live by. He said that if I can do it, you can do it, and we can do it together.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Expedition Business, where we talk to inspiring entrepreneurs about the highs and lows of their business journey and how on earth they manage to keep the flame of business adventure burning. My name is Christelle Rosley Fenton. I have a humbling privilege of speaking to Regorapetse Serote, founder of She Speaks SA, today. But before I introduce Reed to you, I would like to remind you to subscribe, like, comment, and share this podcast with as many of your friends and family as possible. Without your help, we cannot continue to share the amazing stories of our South African entrepreneurs such as Reed. But back to why we are here today. She Speaks SA is a platform for women to engage, have conversations, and find healing through self-expression. She Speaks SA creates a safe space for women to be vulnerable about their insecurities, challenges, and life journeys through the support of a community. Their main aim is to break the narrative of women facing challenges alone. I've also read on your website the following. I've started She Speaks SA because I too needed a place of refuge when I was going through a terrible season. I hope this platform allows women to unify and help each other through any season of their lives. Ree, do you want to tell us a little bit about the terrible season that you are going through?
All right, great. Firstly, thank you so much for having me on your platform, and also for the opportunity to really come in and speak about what we do and how we go about doing so. Um, so it is when people hear the story, I think they get very shame, or like you've gone through a lot. But in retrospect, and before I actually really say what actually happened, in retrospect, I'm really thankful for what happened. So in 2017, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was stage 3 breast cancer, and then in 2020, I was then diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And at the same time, I was told that I'm 3 months pregnant with my now 3-year-old daughter. And I had to take chemotherapy throughout my whole pregnancy. And it was just one of the most challenging times in my life, because obviously my mental health was very low, because doctors were saying, and some people that are very close to me, that I had to either abort my child, because I was either not going to make it, or my daughter wasn't going to make it, or we both weren't going to make it, because of so many complications within what I was going through. I mean, even closer to the time of me actually giving birth, they found out like 2 or 3 days before they found out I had heart failure.
Oh boy.
So my heart was beating at 30%, and a normal heart beats at 70%. So they had to change the whole birthing plan for me to actually give birth under anesthesia, because I was definitely not going to make it. So then after that, I was rushed to ICU, then high care, and then I only met my daughter 3 days later.
Wow.
So it was just, let's just say I wouldn't love anybody to go through what I went through, because it was my state of mind at the time was just, I was praying every single day. I was asking God if I'm doing the right thing. Because I mean, every time I felt my daughter kick, and then I would go for chemotherapy, like I would ask myself, am I killing her, or am I giving her life, type of thing. So yeah. And I think also during that time, there wasn't a platform where I could go and really be vulnerable and express what I'm going through to other people that are going through the same thing, or to a space or a platform where they would accept my challenges and see the positiveness in terms of going, you've got this, you can do it. We are there for you for when you have your bad days, when you have your good days,
Mm.
so and also obviously I felt lonely in that time, so that's why I actually started She Speaks. So we provide that platform for women, because we don't necessarily just look at cancer, we look at all types of challenges, because every single day, like, I believe even just waking up as a woman is a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
because you've got the kids to look after, you've got your work, if you're an entrepreneur, you've got your business to look after, like when you leave the house, like people trying to speak to you. So yeah, we just I hope I'm not going off on a tangent, but yeah, those are my challenges, and that's why we started She Speaks, really.
Wow. But you still have cancer and you're still carrying on with all your work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe, I was speaking to someone the other day, and they were saying, like, in terms of what are the three things you would advise someone
Mm,
that is really maybe going through the same thing. My biggest advice is to live,
mm,
not to really focus on your challenges, but learn from your challenges, because I think that's what I've done with my life. I'm still every single day I'm learning from my challenges, because I mean I need to be the best entrepreneur there is. I need to be the best mother, and I need to be the best person for myself. And if I'm not able to really ground myself in actually living and enjoying life, I believe I don't necessarily, I mean, sorry, I believe I won't die from the cancer, but I would die from looking at the negativity, because cancer thrives on stress. It thrives on, looking at, like, the negative.
mm,
So, yeah, I would really advise someone, and that's what I'm doing, to just live, even though your to get something done, it may take you 5 hours as opposed to two,
mm,
but at least you've got the great the satisfaction to say it was done,
mm.
so yeah.
Wow. It is just absolutely inspiring. But I must be honest with you. When I listen to your story, I feel insanely ashamed of how I react sometimes to things happening to me. Like the other day, my bank card got swallowed thanks to load shedding. And things
Oh,
like
wow.
that cannot even compare in 1 millionth of a speck on your radar of issues that you have to deal with. How
Mm,
do you deal with people that's constantly complaining and moaning if they actually have an awesome life going for them?
absolutely. I think, before I do answer the question, I think for myself, in so I don't get angry or, like, not understand, like, someone. I think for me, I've got the understanding to say that, everybody's got their own issues, and to that person it may look big because they have to go through it.
Mm,
Going through a challenge or a problem, the process is sometimes the hardest thing that you can actually go through, and even though we may say, like, my challenges are bigger, but because somebody else has to go through those challenges, it may look very big to them. But I think for me, um I try and strive and always talk about and look at the positive, and
mm-hmm,
not when I say, like, when I say positive, I'm not like trying to say to somebody, you must also only think positive, only think positive. It's believing in the positive, like believing in the fact that everything is still, like, you can still do, things. You can still go places. You can still, like, don't don't magnitude the negative thing, And also, I try and not necessarily try and judge people on what they're going through comparison to what I've been through. Um, so it's really, for me, it's really, and I'm not so sure if I'm really answering your question, but for me, it's really trying to remind them that there's always something to believe in that is better than what you're going through. because enabling you, for you to be able to actually still wake up
Mm.
in the morning and go about your day is there's a reason why you're still waking up. There's a reason why I'm still alive. So let us focus and believe in that reason. And also in terms of your faith, like what do you go back and I mean, I'm a Christian, so I pray to God, and I thank Him every single day, and try and figure out what exactly is it that He wants me to do. And I think everybody else, yes, you have that challenge, yes, you go through that, but you need to look at why you are still around because there's purpose in everything.
Mm.
So
Mm.
focus on that purpose and focus on the belief that that small challenge is exactly that. It's small and it's not going to be bigger than you.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. Just quickly, what is your motivation for continuing with She Speaks SA? Because that's essentially your business that, apart from the fact that you are very motivated in helping women out there, this is also your business. What is your
Absolutely.
motivation to continue with this?
Absolutely. And I hope I can get through this answer without crying or getting emotional. But my daughter, um, she is she's my water. She waters me every day. So I'm her. It's in reverse because she thinks that she needs me, but I actually need her.
Oh.
I'm her seed. So she waters me every day for me to be able to grow. Um, because just looking at her in terms of how beautiful and happy and determined and like how bright her eyes are. Like I believe that our eyes are the window to our soul. So I'm able to see how beautifully bright her soul is because her eyes are just magical. And I'm not gonna cry, but but just watching her take on life and really not care about everything around her, but just care about what she wants to do
Mm.
and what like how so what's the word? But how strong how her character, and even though she's 3, I can see
Mm.
how strong her character is. And I knew that even before she was born because, I mean, she had to, like, I believe that she had to fight even when she was in my womb because of the chemotherapy.
Mm.
I mean, when she was born, she was so small. I think she was, if I remember correctly, she was 0.97 or 91
Oh my word.
kilogram. Yeah, no, she was tiny. Because the blood circulation didn't go through properly because of the chemo.
Oh my goodness.
Um, yeah. So I look at her and I see how fearless she is. I look at her and I see how determined she is. And I look at her and I just, she is my, she is my, she is my reminder that God is our strength and God is our compass and God directs our path. And God wanted her to live. God wanted me to live. So I push forward, watching her because I want to provide everything I can for her, because she deserves it.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, she is my reason.
Oh wow. And I suppose leaving a legacy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And funny enough, I always wanted to leave a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a song by Beyonce saying that's it's called "I Was Here." And just listening to those, there was one day I was listening to those words and I'm like, you know what? I also want to, when I leave, I want to leave something that's going to remind people that I was here.
Mm.
And I wanna be able to remind people also in my daughter that I was here and we were here. And I think She Speaks is that.
Mm.
I also want to hear from the heavens in 100 years' time that She Speaks is still around and people are really pushing forward to make it bigger and better than it can.
Mm.
Because She Speaks is not for me. Yes, I may benefit from it in terms of the capital, but it hasn't even started benefiting from the capital. But I wanted to. It's not for me. It's for women.
Mm,
It's for
mm,
people. It's for yeah. It's for the world because it provides that safe haven for them to really talk about their challenges and talk about what what they've been through and trying to change their mindset to a I can an I can mindset to say
mm-hmm.
you can get over all your challenges, you can get over what you have gone through, I always say that if I can, you can, and we all can.
Wow.
And that's what we really live by.
Wow.
At She Speaks, it said is that if I can do it, you can do it, and we can do it together.
Well, that is so, so beautiful and so true. I think we need to make a big, big poster for everyone to put up in their office, on their computer, to remind them, if I can, you can. But
Yep, and we all can.
absolutely. But yeah, I just want to say I had the privilege of meeting your little girl the other night, and she is just
Yes.
an absolute little angel. So, so cute. I can imagine that you have
Thank you.
lots and lots of good times together. Just quickly obviously you still need through all of this. She Speaks SA needs to provide an income to you. How do you guys make money out of this program?
Okay, so the services is really by the services that we render. So we do have, uh, if people want counseling, we do have registered counselors that are under us.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, and then also we have corporate workshops. So we are going into the corporates to really see what the needs are of the women in the company or even men
Mm.
in the company, and we really tailor make workshops on what is suited for that company. For instance, we had a women's workshop with Dimension Data, and we did they wanted to discuss imposter syndrome. So
Yeah.
we had it was myself. I spoke about obviously my journey. I don't necessarily see myself as a motivational speaker, as much as people may think I am,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe that I'm just here to remind people that you're not defined by your challenges, but you're really defined by who you say you are and what you want to get through, so I really more so talk about, my challenges that I went through and also the mindset that I have, and also really just to remind people that you are defined by who you are. Because I mean, everybody was like, "No, you're gonna die," and in my heart, I was like, "I'm not going to die."
Mm.
And then it was the workshop itself because it was talking about imposter syndrome. So we had a workshop on that, and then after that, we had them painting.
Mm.
So we also do have a wellness corner. We call it a wellness corner where if people want to learn how to paint or just paint, sing, dance, they can come with a group of women, a group of people, and we provide that platform because we believe that healing through self-expression is expression is a lot of things. Dancing is expression, poetry is expression, talking, singing, painting, it's expression. So we really provide a platform on how expression looks to you
Mm.
in order for you to be able to heal.
Mm.
Um, you
Mm.
know, so so we also do that. So if people want to, like for instance, we're having a cancer nutritional sip and paint event on the 28th of October.
Yes.
Um, and so we're going to get people to come and paint. They're there as well. Just it's really a self-expression, and also obviously then talk about the nutritional sides of when you've been diagnosed with cancer, like what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat, and also how to exercise. So we also have events like that. The ticket is 525 rand. So we also have events like that to really try and um, obviously the events to pay for expenses, but
Mm-hmm.
also we try and like try and get money out of it as well. But for this cancer nutritional event, we aren't getting money out of it. It's really just spreading the awareness. But 2024, we're looking at different events that we can actually also do. So yeah, that's how we really gain capital from from She Speaks SA.
Okay. Well, it sounds really, really exciting, and we're definitely going to add some links and photos and everything so that
Absolutely.
everyone can see what amazing work you are doing and where they could fit into all of that. But just tell me
Absolutely.
quickly, when it comes to business, what makes you feel on top of the world?
Oh, I think it's really more so my love language is service.
Mm-hmm.
I love helping people. I love being the solution in the problem because my father even taught me when he raised me, he was like, you need to make sure all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed. So you're able to get what you want in a sense. So when you do something, you look at all the different aspects of fulfilling that or being that solution to the problem. And it really has it's gone on me so much to say that that's why I'm saying like my love language is service. So I think for me, when somebody calls in and really needs help and we're able to help them, I feel on top of the world because now that person has found their solution. So I'm very solution driven. Also in terms of I don't want and I don't want people suffering alone or going through a challenge by themselves. I'm that person that wants to really take your challenges for you type of thing. So when I'm able to actually be the solution in the problem,
Mm-hmm.
or we're able to help someone, um, able to help someone, I feel like I'm on top of the world because I've served my purpose. I think I've served, what I needed to do. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. And I suppose through the line of work that you do, you are continuously faced with everyone else's challenges and seeing how
yes,
they work through it and how your service makes a
absolutely,
difference to them.
absolutely, absolutely.
Wow. Okay, so what would be the major challenges that you are facing in your career, apart from the health that we've already spoken about? What other
Yes.
challenges do you face?
To be honest with you, I think financially it is a challenge. Because being an entrepreneur and being a mother and being trying to work on my also still having to make sure that my health is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, financial it is a strain financially it is a strain because I mean I've only started this company. We've been on the ground running for the past year, so it's still fairly new. We're still also trying to make sure that awareness of what we're doing is out there. That's why I'm really thankful to platforms such as yours, for us to really discuss and talk about what we are doing. So it we and also we also always have to market and look at different ways on how to get ourselves out there. So it obviously does financially impact myself, especially because it is still new and I'm also still a mother, and
Mm-hmm.
so our our the way our standard of living is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one. I think that is one of our challenges, and also because our company is self funded.
Yes.
So that is, to be honest with you, I would love for us to get more clients in terms of doing workshops or in terms of more people wanting to get involved in the wellness corner, and also actually really growing our community as a whole. Because I think the more people know about what we're doing and really love what we're doing, the more people actually are going to want to get involved in what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think also another challenge, it helps the finances, but like really spreading the awareness of what we're doing. Um, if I could go on also like a radio, or having a radio segment really, on a bigger scale radio, that would also, I would love that to really just spread awareness of what we're doing. And so more people can get involved in, the ripple effect to that is then the finances do come in because of the services that we render. So those, for me right now, those two things are my biggest challenge, to see how we can really spread the awareness of what we're doing, and also obviously see how we can grow the finances of the company.
Okay. But that sounds like something we can fix for you very quickly.
I would, if you could, I would appreciate that.
Hey, anything is possible. I was just thinking while you were talking, it's not as if there is a scarcity of people who are facing challenges and need your services.
Absolutely. That is very true. Very, very true.
So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, most people do go through challenges. Um,
No, absolutely. And sorry to cut you there, but also I think mental health, people need to take their mental health more serious. And also we also try and like I try and advocate for that in terms of how serious your mental health is. Like, in order for you to be able to climb your mountain or get over your challenges, your mental health needs to be at a good in a good perspective or at a good state.
mm-hmm,
Because I mean, for instance, with me, if I wasn't, a friend of mine laughs and says, you know what, if you weren't as stubborn as you are, I don't think you would still be around, because it was really like it was a dire situation. But
uh-huh,
I was so stubborn in the sense of, I am gonna get through this. Like, I am going to,
mm,
And at the end of the day, it was my mind, state of mind.
mm,
So and a lot of people go through mental health issues. I mean, for instance, even going from COVID, we had there's a lot, like we've have a lot of people, still trying to bounce back from COVID, even trying to bounce back. That's again having to put your state of mind at a right in a right perspective. So if we can, that's why I was also saying in terms of the awareness, if we can really spread out to say that, if you like just spread the awareness of what we're doing and say, join our community. We are all about believing in that we can get over it, not just hoping and trying to get over it, but believing. And once you believe in something that you're doing, half your battle is won, because you are so rooted in that belief that this is going to happen.
mm-hmm,
This is going to take place. And I mean, a lot of people believe in the universe, and when you believe in something, it comes to pass.
mm,
And it does come to pass. So that's what we're really all about. And if we can just really spread that awareness
mm,
and help
mm,
people with their mental health issues,
mm.
then my job is done.
Oh, I think you've got still lots to do, so your job won't be done for a very, very long time. But I was just thinking while you're talking about mental health and cancer, I think a lot of people suffer from, if I could call it, mental health cancer, where their mental health
Yes,
is just eating them up day by day.
absolutely, absolutely. And I I actually was a product of that and still am. I think for me, through my journey with my diagnosis, funny enough, I never got, like, I was never bedridden. Okay, only last year for a good 2 months, I was bedridden in terms of I could not walk because it had the it had spread to my lung. So my lung was like covered in water, so I couldn't breathe. But from since 2017 up until now, really, I never was bedridden. So the chemo didn't get me down. But my mentally, I was chopped down to not existing,
I can imagine.
and yeah, and before 2017, I was a very, very confident, carefree, you know, I felt like I was on top of the world because I did what I loved. I was an events coordinator at college campus in Rosebank College,
Mm-hmm.
and we would do events for students. And I didn't think the world could get me down at all. Like, I was on top of the world. And then my diagnosis, and everything just changed, because the cancer doesn't just eat at, it comes out in so many different forms. I'll give an example. I recently went because of the chemo. It affects the whole body. So my teeth, um, they were weak. They were weakened
Mm-hmm.
by the chemo, and also side effects to the amount of medications I'm on. And I went to go take one out, and this was in the beginning of the year. And still now I'm having problems with it because my bone isn't healing. So
Mm.
I'm now in November having to go for CT scans to find out why my bone is not healing.
Mm.
Because the problem with me is when I hurt myself or injure myself, or my body doesn't heal the way a normal body heals. So it's those mental things that I have to go through. Even just my own body, like my left arm is more swollen than my right arm because of the cancer. So my breast, my left breast was affected. So like it's also now affected because I've got I forgot what it is, or I forgot what you call it, but my arm is swollen. So there's certain clothes that I can't wear. Like when I have to dress up, I have to look in the wardrobe to say, what can I wear that my arm will be able to either be covered or it will actually be able to go through the sleeve.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, so yeah, it's getting used to things like that, and it affects you mentally. It affects you. It really does.
Mm.
So it's yeah. I'm still every day. I am my confidence is getting back to where it was.
Mm.
Um, but it's a road, and people. I think one thing that I need to for myself is I need to be very kind to myself to say that I will get back to and I say this lightly in terms of I will get back to where I want to be, but at the same time, I'm not the same person as I was prior to the cancer. I'm a completely different person because I've gone through different challenges. Because so the way I see things or reason is very different. So it's not necessarily a new normal, but it's really just me in my best version of myself or who I want to be. And that's why I also say in hindsight, I'm thankful for these challenges because I don't take things, I try not to take things for granted.
Mm.
And I also, my look on life is completely different. You know, every day I have to remind myself that I have to be very gentle with myself and very patient with myself. So I think I would advise that anybody that is going through any kind of mental health problem, it being because of health or depression or something that they are going through, they need to be very kind to themselves and patient with themselves, and their self-worth is higher than any other thing that is around them. So your self-worth is more expensive than your car. Your self-worth is more expensive than your salary that you get at the end of the month, because in order for you have to your self-worth has to be at a level where you're still able to drive that car, you're still able to go to work,
Mm.
so they have to really be very kind and patient to themselves. Yeah.
Well, just quickly, you used to be very, very active. As far as I know, you used to play netball on a provincial level.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I did.
Sure, but that
um yeah,
everything changed.
everything did change in a sense of, so I still love staying active now. And I'm thankful that I love staying active because it allows me to still be active, because it's actually very beneficial. But I'm not as active as I used to be. So I used to like I so I'm very competitive, and I'm also very competitive with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I before my diagnosis, I would make sure that I hit those like the full circuit, the like I hit them to a point where I'm completely out of breath.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll challenge myself to get better all the time. Also with the netball, when I was in high school, I was first team and also provincial. So I made sure that I was as active as possible. And also very high level active,
Uh-huh.
But now I'm not as active, but I try and stay like an example, and that's another reason why we are doing our the cancer nutritional sip and paint, is to spread the awareness of the fact that, and I don't like saying this because it sounds like cancer is a thing or a person, but cancer doesn't like oxygen. And the best way to put oxygen in your body is to obviously stay active. So in order for you to really decrease the growth of the cancer or the tumor, you have to stay active. But you need to stay active so you don't burn out
Mm-hmm.
or you don't overexert yourself, because you must remember that as a cancer patient, you could possibly get tired easier,
Mm-hmm.
out of breath, things like that. So you need to be very mindful of those things. But so I try, and anytime I drop my daughter at school, I then take a walk around our block, and then I also come home and I use the trampoline, because the trampoline it is very good. That also minimizes the growth, because it drains out your lymphatic system.
Okay.
So yeah, so trampolining is advised for any cancer patient, because then it drains out. So it also aids in stopping the growth of the tumor.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's what I do to stay now.
Wow. I must say, I didn't know it would be possible to still exercise while you are going through all these health challenges. So, very
Yeah,
good to know.
yeah, yes, no, absolutely. And it's something that a lot of people also don't think they can do, or don't think they should do, because um you are very weak.
Mm,
You get tired very quickly. Like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I feel like I haven't slept, even though I had a proper full time of sleeping.
mm,
But you need to try and stay active, even if it's maybe like a 5 minutes jump on the trampoline, and it's not even a heavy jump, just moving, making sure that your body is still moving.
mm,
Yeah, it's advised. I'm not saying go for a 20-minute jump. It's
mm-hmm,
even if it's 2 minutes, 2 minutes in intervals.
mm-hmm.
So throughout the day, you're doing 2 minutes every, let's say, every hour. That's advised. Just looking at ways on how to really um, it, move your body. Not looking at it as exercise, but just move your body, get movement in your body.
Wow. That is super inspirational to hear all of this. But what I'd like to know, I would imagine that exercise would be a fun and exciting way that you use to regroup, refocus, and rejuvenate yourself in your
Yes,
entrepreneurial endeavors. But what other
yes.
things do you use to regroup, refocus, and re energize yourself?
Okay. I try and make sure that I spend time with myself,
Mm-hmm.
um, and quiet time with myself. Really going back to, for me, it's prayer. It's also really just meditating on the goodness of God, and also just meditation. And also really trying to get the world to quiet down, around me. So it really is spending time with myself, and really and also breathing. I also do a lot of breathing that really relaxes me. Um, so those are really some of the ways in which I do relax and rejuvenate, because at the end of the day, like when I wake up, I see myself as waking up for other people,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of making sure that She Speaks is able to still get to help other people, and also obviously try and make sure that my daughter is okay. So me going back and just spending time with myself, it really rejuvenates me to be able to wake up and serve other people, because I feel like I'm giving myself I'm giving off of myself to other people, because I'm always trying to make sure that they're okay. So just giving myself my own time and being quiet, and still in my walk with Christ and meditation, also just breathing and relaxing. It's also a nice stress reliever. So that's really how I rejuvenate and just take time for myself.
Well, the breathing is definitely a good reminder. I find myself doing some breathing right now just to because we do forget that very, very quickly. But I would imagine
Absolutely.
that that cute little daughter of yours also helps to re-energize you.
Oh, absolutely. She that goes without saying. Like just spending like 5 minutes with her, just playing, it reminds me that I'm still my the kid inside of me is still there, because just for her, like a little tickle is like, oh my goodness, like that was so much fun, you know. And that's just me tickling her and laughing. So
Uh-huh.
absolutely, she does bring out the little version of me.
Oh,
She
shame.
is my best
Oh,
friend.
cute, cute. And I think we all need to be reminded to laugh and, yeah, just be that little kid in ourselves again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's also one thing that I love doing is laughing. Like I love laughing, like laughing from your guts, because it reminds me that I'm still alive. And also laughing is good for stress relief. And funny enough, when I'm in a tight situation or a stressful situation, my body, it's like my body self-releases by laughing, because I sometimes laugh in the most awkward play times, and people are looking at me going, "Girl, why are you laughing? This is not a time to laugh right now." But that is my way of my body trying to regulate in terms of, oh snap, we are in trouble, or we, you know.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, so laughing is something I love.
Uh-huh. Re um if you could be your 20-year-old self again or even younger,
Mm,
what
mm.
would you change or do differently?
I think I don't think I'll really change anything, but I will definitely reassure my 20 my younger self that you are going to live life to the fullest, and you are going to walk in your purpose, and you are going to walk in what God has set for you in this world. Because as much as I was confident in what I was doing, I was always wondering if I'm really going to find my purpose, because finding my purpose was something I did like since for a very, very long time. It's taken, like I laugh with people and say it's taken cancer and my challenges for me to realize what my purpose was.
Mm-hmm.
But for a very long time, I was always like, am I really going to walk or go and find my purpose? Am I going to really live out the way I want to? And am I going to really be happy in what I'm doing? So I think it's really reassuring my younger self that, you know what, you will live out your purpose. You will be okay. You will be good. You will um, live life in its bigness. So yeah, I think that's what I would go back and do, is just reassure her, and not and make sure that she is okay
Mm-hmm.
with. She doesn't have to wonder if that's going to happen. She must just take it all in and enjoy what she's doing, because it will find its own self. So yeah, because I think I am living my purpose now. So that's why I'm saying I would reassure her, because I don't have those thoughts anymore. I'm doing this.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But you
Yes.
you mentioned that it took cancer to find your purpose, but isn't that very typical where you almost have to go through a major life challenge before you find your purpose?
No, absolutely. I do think so. And I think that's another reason why we also try and change somebody's mindsets in terms of it being an I can mindset, because we look at our challenges and we always go, oh, why me? Why do I have to go through this? But I ask you, why not you? Because the things that you will get out of your challenges, you know.
Mm,
But you have to be like your right in order for you to be able to have, look at it like that.
mm,
But absolutely, I think I do agree. We have to go through, like, for me, I believe life is our best teacher because it's the experiences where you learn, where you grow, where you look at something different. It's your experiences that get you through to doing that. And also, it's your experiences that really define what you need to do in life or your purpose. Because I mean, I thought I was going to do events for the rest of my life. Like, I really loved events, but my aunt once said to me, it might not be events that you might not do for the rest of your life. So try new things. Don't only, like, looking when you were, because when I was young and I was looking for a job, I was only looking in events.
mm-hmm,
She was saying to me, try new things or try other positions that you're also good at, because you never know what you may discover about yourself. So it's those experiences that allow me to discover who I really am. And for me, when I say, like, it took cancer for me to find my purpose, because it really made me discover my true essence of me and what really makes me happy and what really makes, like, again, I'm that solution person. So because I couldn't get it in myself in terms of finding a platform for me to heal, I'm creating that platform. I think my real healing started when I really was going on with She Speaks, and also being able to share my story and talk to people. A lot of people say that I inspired them, but for me, I am inspired by how inspired you are.
mm-hmm.
You know, I I want to do more because I see how it's helping, and it's my challenges that made me get to that space of, this is what I want to do, and this is what's going to fulfill me. So yeah, I do believe so.
Oh, wow. Well, just listening to you is super, super inspiring. But
Thank
do
you.
you ever
Thank you.
get time to read? Do you have some favorite books that you want to share with us and can recommend,
I
especially for entrepreneurs?
Yes, I did. I do try and read as much as I can. But one book that I really liked, and because for me, I read what I like. And right now, because I'm on a road of discovery and purpose and, fulfillment, um there's a book by T.D. Jakes. It's called Identity: Discover Who You Are and Live a Life of Purpose. I really am enjoying that book because it helps me discover who I really am, and it helps me continue to live my life of purpose. Because I think when you're on a road of discovery, you really need to look within you what your core is, and reading books as such as that, it allows me to be able to do things in my entrepreneurial journey as well, because I think discovering yourself, um you have to be very rooted in what you're doing in terms of your entrepreneurial journey, or whatever service that you are rendering, or whatever product you are selling, because you are going to have your challenges. Like, you're going to wake up in the morning and say, am I really supposed to be doing what I'm doing? Like, is it really worth it? Because you can go 2 months and your bank balance is a minus zero or a minus 100
Mm-hmm.
because you're starting up a new thing, and being rooted in what you're doing, or being rooted in what you're selling, or being rooted in who you are, is going to keep you going. I can do this, so for me, that's why I'm really enjoying the book. So because it's really, it's reminding me as well. Also, obviously, by T.D. Jakes, he is a pastor,
Uh-huh.
so I am also very faith girl. I believe in God, and really believe in His purpose for our lives. So if I can really um, hear or get advice from, what grounds me, then it reminds me that I can keep on going. So yeah, that's one book that I would advise to someone or recommend for an entrepreneur. So yeah,
Sure, sure. Can't wait to get my hand on that book.
please do. You can get in the Christmas,
I will
actually.
definitely make a plan. But
Yeah.
are there any metaphorical mountains that you still want to climb within the near future?
Um, I think there are a few. Um, but I think for me, to be honest, I'm not so sure how to answer that question, Christelle. But I think because I think uh, there's a lot of challenges or mountains that I definitely do want to get through. In terms of, for instance, like as small as just trying to make sure that my confidence is where it was, or it is a new found of confidence. For me, that is a mountain because every day when I look in the mirror, I have to like the body that I have now,
Mm.
even with my swollen arm.
Uh-huh.
And I need to love myself. I need to love that body, you know. So that in itself is a mountain that I'm trying to climb in now and also continuously because I mean, yeah, there's not, I don't want to go into much detail, but I mean, there's a lot of also operations and scars that I have within my body. I mean, I've got a chemo port that lives in me. I mean, like it's on my chest, and even just trying to choose what I want to wear, so I hide that because I don't like people staring at me and going shame, you know.
Mm.
Also in terms of like um raising, I'm not too sure if it's metaphorical, but like raising my daughter
Mm.
as an entrepreneur, a female entrepreneur, I must say a black female entrepreneur, like that also in itself is a mountain to climb because I want my child looking at me going, I want her to be, I want to be her role model, you know, saying that you can go get through things regardless if you are a female, regardless if you are black, doesn't matter what nationality you are, what color you are, it doesn't matter. You can overcome whatever, you know. Um, so it's also that making sure that I do make it or I do overcome those things. So for me, those are things that I am. Those are my mountains. Yeah, no, those are very very close to my heart mountains because I sometimes, as much as I'm always about the positivity and always about your mind state, I also still there's also days where I don't want to get out of bed and continue going, you know. So for me, those will always be my mountains that I need to make sure that I climb.
Cool. I can imagine that there must be a lot of days that's difficult to climb out of bed. But
Yeah,
um, I think if one of your biggest goals are to be a role model for your daughter, it sounds like you have reached the summit already. So I
thank you.
cannot imagine that your daughter's got a better role model than you. And yeah, wow,
That means a lot. Thank you so much.
wow, wow, wow. Re, just quickly, what would be your number one quote to inspire our entrepreneurs today?
For me, what I also live by, it's not necessarily a quote, but it is, or it is a quote. For me, it is a quote, but I'm not so sure if it's by someone. Um, I always live by simplicity made perfect. Like the simple things will get you to the end. Don't try to go for those extravagant, over the top, like no, those like for instance, if when you're an entrepreneur, like you're not going to, most of the time you're not going to start with all the money in the world. You're not going to start with, like everything that you need. And if you just go with the simple things. I mean, I've got a health mentor,
Mm-hmm.
um, and she always says to me, um, I had it just now, but it's simplicity and attainability and it's sustainability. Sorry. So whatever is attainable, whatever is sustainable, like go with that. Like for instance, I'm going to give an example. Like when before I started She Speaks, obviously, so I was retrenched where in 20 when COVID hit
Mm-hmm.
because
Good.
I was working for a sports management company,
Okay.
and obviously sports was not happening at all.
Mm.
And so I was looking at ways and how to obviously bring in some money. And I actually, because I stay in a 4-room house, it is I stay with my daughter, and we had like 2 or 3 other rooms vacant. And I made one of the rooms. I put it on Airbnb to start to at least like for it to make money. And when I started, I didn't even have Wi-Fi. I had that small portable router.
Yes.
Um, that I started with that, so the house can have Wi-Fi and the guests have Wi-Fi. So like start with what you have, the simplicity of it, because if you're trying to look for the extravagance or you're trying to look for the well done or the seamless look, it's not always go. You might not start because you might not get there. When you start, you don't start with the everything done correctly, So you're you doing things in its simplicity. It's going to be perfect anyway. That's how I see it. Um, yeah. So I think that's for me. That's what I would advise, or the quote that I would use or give.
Mm-hmm.
Simplicity made perfect. In the
Mm-hmm.
simple things, you will get things done. In the simple things, you're gonna achieve what you're doing. And when you've got everything that you need, then yeah, okay, go extravagant if you want to go extravagant. But I love my simple things.
Wow. Wow. And you are making me fall in love with the simple things in life right now. Read
I
just,
hope so.
you're definitely doing. Just some final words out there for entrepreneurs facing major issues today. What would be your parting message?
I think so. I'm all about purpose, and I'm all about life and what it really means to someone. I'm all about being really genuinely and authentically happy. So for me, I think finding that um, you don't necessarily you don't give attention to your challenges, or you don't give attention to the things that you're going through if you are rooted in your purpose, you're rooted in happiness, you're rooted in what makes you wake up in the morning, and what makes you keep on going. Because for me, because I believe that I'm living my purpose, my challenges are there and they are huge, but they don't stop me in what I want to do. Um, I'm sorry. I one of one of the nurses, because I've been at the hospital that I've been at for the past 6 years. So like I always tell people that like that's my second home, because
Uh-huh.
all the nurses there, like we close now.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my journey, I've not I've made sure that I don't allow my challenges to really get me down. And there was one particular day where I went to the hospital, to my ward, and I just wasn't okay. Like I just didn't want to. Like I was really worried because obviously I know my body, and I know when I'm not okay.
Mm.
And one of the nurses said to me, what, you've always come in with a smile, and you always come in like taking on the world. But today I want to remind you that don't look at the ball, don't look at the ball, look at the goal. and that will get you to reaching your goal. So your ball in that instance is a metaphor of your challenges. Your ball is I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. Your ball is possibly the cancer. Your ball is possibly not being able to financially do what you want to do. The ball is not being able to fulfill, your goals that you want for right now. But your goal is being in remission. Your goal is getting your finances back on where it needs to be. Your goal is making sure that you reach all your milestones, Focus on that, and the ball, your challenges, your problems, they're not that big because your goal is bigger than your challenges. Your goal is, when a ball, now we're talking like literally, like a ball is smaller than a goalpost,
Mm-hmm.
literally,
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that figuratively as well, focus on the goal and not on the ball. So I think for me, and also you really do get your balls in your entrepreneurial journey. Sometimes you even think, am I actually doing what I'm supposed to do? Because when it's low, a lot of people are not there.
Mm-hmm.
You've only got yourself, so you need to focus on the goal. Focus on that goalpost, and yeah, that's what I would say.
I absolutely love the fact that you've pointed out the ball is always smaller than the goalpost. Something to remember over and over again.
Absolutely,
And I think
absolutely,
coming back to your netball days, somehow is it possible to take that ball and make a game out of it?
absolutely. It is always possible. If you wanted it, it is always possible. They say impossible is actually written wrong. It's actually I'm possible and not impossible. So you separate the word and say I'm possible. You don't put it all together and say impossible.